games. They've been blown out in both. On top of that, injuries and missing personnel.
Well, Syracuse has the offense to hang with any team, but defensively they've been exposed in conference play. And to make matters worse, they're now paper thin on that side of the ball. And top scorer Chase Scanlon, he was suspended indefinitely this week, but I think his replacement, Owen Seabold, he's from Dallas, Texas. He's a big dude. He's physical. He likes to go one-on-one, and he can get to the rack.
Syracuse, last time out, vaporized by UNC 21-9 at the Carrier Dome. Virginia coming off a win against Utah. The Hoos have won 5 of 6, the only loss in that span in overtime to Duke. Petey LaSala and Jacob Thaupe at the face-off X. LaSala has played like a first-team All-American this year, but his worst game came at the Carrier Dome when Thaupe won 22 of 33.
When the game's on the line, you want 23 in white.
Face-offs since that Virginia game really have been a struggle for Syracuse, and an early face-off violation against LaSala, so Syracuse will begin on offense. In goal for Virginia is Alex Rode, fourth winningest goalie in program history behind Adam Gittleman, Kip Turner, and Tillman Johnson. Tucker Dordevic coming off a 4-goal game against North Carolina. And there is Seabold, 14 in orange, getting the start on attack in place of Chase Scanlon. And Syracuse turns it over.
The turnovers, the lack of clearing from defense to offense, along with not being proficient at the face-off dot, has plagued the Orange in conference play.
Out of bounds, it'll stay with Virginia. The Cavaliers nearly gave it right back. In goal for the Orange, Drake Porter. He was a big reason for Syracuse's success in the first Virginia game. 15 saves in that contest. But Porter has been under siege, especially in these ACC games.
Yes, he's been the least of their problems. In that last game against Virginia up in the Dome, I thought the third quarter he had some incredible stops. Virginia was pressing and could have gotten back in that game. Porter said, not today.
This is Jackson Apelt getting the start on senior day. So not the usual suspects starting. You've got Regan Quinn, number 19 out there. Griffin Harris getting the start on attack. A Lars Tiffany tradition, he gives his seniors the first run. Apelt over to Griffin Harris. 3 goals on the season. Shot clock down to 6, down to 5. Harris, bouncer, saved by Porter. The rebound loose. Porter able to shovel it out. Still on the ground. And now we're going to get a whistle. It's going to be Syracuse ball.
Can they clear? Virginia's staple is their ride. It's like the full court press. They will get after you. Syracuse, that last outing against North Carolina, they had trouble clearing the ball, to say the least.
Syracuse in ACC play clearing at about 77%. Virginia opponents clear at 77%. That's the number 1 riding team in the country, so that has been a problem, and it may be compounded today. Syracuse down 3 of its top 4 defensive midfielders. Stephen Rafis has been a revelation as a 6th-year senior. With Scanlon out, Rafis leads the team in goals, assists, and points. On the Tewaaraton Award watch list, that is the Heisman of lacrosse. Here's Lucas Quinn. Rafis spins it behind. Here comes Seabold. How much has Virginia improved defensively over the last 4 or 5 games, Kark, as you get a look at John Desko, who needs to find answers for his team and quick?
I think Virginia has improved big time. As you look at Holtz here, the freshman from Canada just gets floored. Anish, a couple things in this matchup that are different from the first matchup. Kyle Koloji was on Stephen Rafis, 29 in orange, and he had a big day in the Dome. Now that's switched. Cade Sawstead gets that matchup.
A chance here for Virginia. Moore unsettled. Yard sale had his stick checked loose. Mitch Wyckoff, the Division III transfer from Gettysburg. Let's see if Syracuse can go quickly. Virginia gets back. Syracuse defensively today starting Wyckoff and Cole Horan. That's D3 Gettysburg and a Furman transfer. Here comes Dordovic. He's got the short stick matchup. Dordovic down the alley, saved by Rode. Rebound is free. It comes to Soliday. Lars Tiffany likes to say, this offense goes as number 5, Matt Moore goes. Moore, one of 5 players in school history with 100 goals and 100 assists.
Yep, bad news for the rest of college lacrosse. He's going to use that extra year in 2020. Season was ended because of COVID. Well, Moore got another year. He's going to do it again in 2022.
Jeff Connor's shot saved by Porter out of the cage. Now here's the Virginia ride. Brett Kennedy, 11 in orange, one of the top long stick midfielders in the country. He's a threat to score too. Plays it to Peter Dirth, the All-American short stick D-Midi. But behind Dirth, very little depth today. No Dami Alaramoye, no Brandon Aviles. Jamie Trimboli against Chris Merle. Trimboli with the lefty shot. 1-0 Syracuse.
They've been hearing it all week long. The Orange are done. Well, Trimboli, a 5th-year senior and a captain, known as a big righty shooter, goes to his offhand and hits Alex Rode right between the 5-hole. Trimboli's a big-time shooter, and he's known for the ability to extend out with that right hand. So teams are going to want to flush him to his left, and he made him pay right there.
LaSala and Fopp is 2 for 2. John Desko was telling us yesterday, Jacob Fopp has had his struggles, but he played well against Petey LaSala, and he said, hey, I hope that's a matchup thing, because Syracuse has struggled to even out the possession disadvantage these last few times out in the ACC.
It's a good point, Anish. And, you know, you look at the numbers statistically, face-offs oftentimes don't make sense. Like Petey LaSalle could be blow-torching everyone nationally. Jacob Fopp is struggling, but stylistically, there's that issue, right? They don't match up as a lot of people would think when you look at the statistics.
Fopp is just 21% facing off in the other 3 ACC games for Syracuse outside of the Virginia game. He was 22 of 33 against Virginia. Fopp, 11 of 30 against Syracuse, 64% in the other 4 ACC games. Rode clamps down. Virginia in the first meeting against Syracuse had its own clearing issues. The Cavaliers, as good of a riding team they are, they had struggles clearing the ball early this year. 79% the first 6 games. In the last 5, though, 93%. That's elite.
Cleaning it up. They've got the athletes in the middle of the field. And I think for Syracuse, when they're trying to clear, there's a couple of guys, I think, that can give you like that punt return clear. You saw Kennedy do it earlier. I think Peter Dirth is another guy. Don't let Virginia set up in that ride.
Matt Moore did handle the rebound, and Murphy's got it. Moore was 0 for 10 shooting in the loss to Syracuse at the Carrier Dome, and there's that Virginia ride. Big scramble. And a big ground ball by Syracuse. Kennedy lost it. Bauer had it knocked away, out of bounds. And it's Syracuse ball. And that's another area where the Orange have to get better. In ACC games, they're almost minus 13 per game in ground balls.
Well, a lot of that is the face-off, X.
Yes.
But the middle of the field, I've seen it firsthand. I've called a number of Syracuse games. They've been beating the middle of the field on those 50-50 ground balls. So even outside of the face-off discrepancy, they need to bring it from a physical perspective.
Griffin Cook, the backup. He began the year starting on attack. Replaced in the second game by Owen Hiltz. You'll see Cook on that second midfield today. Rafis hits the pipe.
That's the matchup. Cade Sawstad, 11 in white against 29 in orange, Stephen Rafis. The leading scorer for the Orange, top cover guy for Virginia.
And Sawsted's really done a nice job here of late against Kavanaugh and Sowers and Gray. Wasn't healthy at the beginning of the season. A bounce shot and a score, beating Road low. 2-0 Cuse.
Everyone talks about that first midfield. Tucker Dordovic, Jamie Trimboli, Brendan Curry. Well, Lucas Quinn, he's got a thing or two to say in regards to playmaking. 26 in orange. Uses that top shoulder. Quick release. It's a goal.
With his hands, I can see it on the Zoom monitor. He was drawing in circles. Lars Tiffany's team, the defending champions in 2019. And the Cliff Notes version of the narrative is this. Syracuse was the preseason favorite in the ACC. A few weeks ago, we had Duke and Carolina in a 1-2 game. And then about a week and a half ago, it was Notre Dame and Virginia that was all the rage. So everybody has had a turn. Syracuse perfect on faceoffs. Kennedy dumps it back. Number 10, Max Rosa. You'll see him as part of that defensive midfield unit today. A redshirt freshman.
Sam Alexo as well. Another freshman playing that short stick defensive midfield for the Syracuse Orange, a position they're super thin because of injuries.
There's Trimboli down the alley. Merle stays with him. Good defense there. Rafis marked by Sawstad. Dordovic's got the short stick matchup. Soliday. Dordovic shoots. Saved by Rode. Soliday was picked on a lot in that first meeting between these two.
Well, Syracuse has that strength, right? They have that big-time midfield unit. And two of those middies, every time they're on the offensive set, have short sticks. Opponents only have 4 long poles. You got to short 2 of them. Syracuse always has options in terms of who they want to attack.
Xander Dixon, he's been an invert midi. Playing from up top here, though. Dixon, a 4-point game against Utah last time out. Marked by Peter Dirth. Now Connor Schellenberger. Over to Ian Laviano, and Virginia is on the board. You said it right at the beginning. Virginia's got 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, most teams nationally have that guy at X. Carolina has Chris Gray. Notre Dame has Pat Cavanaugh. Maryland has Jared Bernhardt. Duke has Michael Sowers. Well, Virginia, they've got 2. Connor Schellenberger and Matt Moore are point guards, guys that dissect opponents' defenses with incredible vision. And Ian Laviano is that inside presence that Virginia needs, and I'll tell you why. They have all these dodgers and playmakers on the perimeter. Laviano knows his role as a finisher, a guy that can do damage in the paint.
Few better off ball nationally. And Syracuse 4 for 4 on faceoffs. So this is an encouraging sign for John Desko. But now the clear. And this was an issue last week. Cormier, look at the Canadian hands. Cormier toward the cage, feeding Schellenberger, and in the crease. Syracuse ball. Looked like Laviano stepped in.
The face-off means nothing if you don't get the offensive possession. Syracuse has to be super clean. When Fopp gives you that victory, you have to get the ball in the offensive set.
Disaster averted for Syracuse. A team that came into this season with not just championship weekend expectations, but championship expectations. So much experience, so much returning firepower. At 5-4, they're teetering on the brink. Owen Hiltz, saved by Rode.
Like when Hiltz is at that spot and he uses that quick, rapid-fire top hand, and he goes from low to high. Rarely do you see a goalie save it. That time he didn't change levels. Stick was low, he shot low on Alex Rode.
Virginia able to get it across. A shot clock activates on a change of possession, and the teams have the first 20 seconds of that 80-second shot clock to get it across the midfield line. You can go over and back in the first 20 seconds. Schellenberger, good look here by Cormier. And we get a whistle. Flag down.
Cormier let that one fly. You could hear Drake Porter getting crushed in the leg. He's limping right now.
Red 17. 17 red. 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's going to be a hold on Mitch Wyckoff, grad transfer from Gettysburg. He's been their #1 cover defender. He gets a hold for 30 seconds. But that shot by Cormier was a bomb, and it hit Porter right in the leg. Playing goalie in college lacrosse, playing goalie in lacrosse at any level, it's crazy. Got that ball flying at 90, 100 miles an hour, no pads hardly.
Cormier on the doorstep. He has been the man with the extra man. That is his 8th EMO goal of the season.
He's been the man because he has some versatility in his game. That last time he took a shot was from the high left wing. He's awesome in that spot. But because of the Canadian background, playing in box lacrosse, tight quarters, he's awesome finishing in tight. And it's the little subtle stick fake on Porter that gets it done for Cormier.
All he does is score goals. 37 now. Came into the game 5th nationally in goals. LaSala, you saw that jump early. So 2 face-off violations on Virginia. For most face-off guys, that is a problem for whatever reason. P.D. LaSala's numbers are actually quite impressive when he has 2 violations on him.
When he has 2 violations, he's better than his season average. It's nutty when you think about it. You think you'd be trigger shy, right? Because the 3rd violation, you go in the box for 30 seconds. Petey has ice in his veins. In the 4th quarter, and when he violates, he's a different player. Like, he just is so focused and locked in.
20 in orange, Liam Ferris. Syracuse believes he's going to have a really strong career before his time is done. Almost only a freshman. Seeing some run today on that second midfield. Soliday dumps it off to the wing. Big save by Porter to deny Cormier. Now the clear. 5 saves now for Porter.
Porter's locked in.
Quinn's got a goal. Feeding Rafis. That one hit the pipe. That's 2 pipes by Stephen Rafis today. A 6th-year senior who has been the best player, hands down, on this Syracuse offense. Part of the 100 assist club at Syracuse. You want to talk about a list. All 3 Powells, Tim Nelson, Zilberti, Kavovit, Kevin Rice, Archer. That's a list.
Where's the shot? You're not going to throw something at me right now? How I didn't pass the ball? I'm waiting.
You were on the receiving end of a few of those.
Yeah, I played with incredible passers. Two guys you mentioned, Rob Kavovit, and Casey Powell were kind of like two quarterbacks like Virginia has with Matt Moore and Connor Schellenberger. Like versatile guys who can create their own offense but also pass and make everyone around them better.
Here comes Dordovic now. Dordovic feeding to Hiltz on the inside for the quick stick.
Virginia has Peyton Cormier. Syracuse has Owen Hiltz. Stylistically, a little bit different, built a little bit different, but they occupy the same spot. They can crush it on the high wing, but they can also beat you inside with unbelievable hands and deception. It's the subtle deceptions of those two players. Like they catch and they make the smallest little fake to freeze a goalie to hit pay dirt.
Hiltz has had a terrific freshman season. Syracuse with a chance to tack on. Hiltz again. Final seconds. Syracuse has won every faceoff. Great feed by Rafis. Hiltz on the inside. Here's the flag. This might be against Syracuse. He might have been into the goal mouth, making contact with Rode. The goal has been waved off.
Okay, so it looks like it will be a push. You cannot land in the goal mouth regardless. It will never be a goal if you are in that half circle within the crease.
39, 30 seconds.
So it is a push with possession on Cole Kastner. So Syracuse will have the man up. One more look. Right there. He lands in the goal mouth, so that waves off the goal. That's the semicircle in front of the goal. Syracuse with the ball, with the extra man as the quarter ends. So the Orange will begin the second quarter without a face-off. They'll have the ball and 23 seconds on a man up. The Orange lost by 12 at home last time out to North Carolina. Blown out at home by Notre Dame. Their season teetering on the edge. A strong opening statement on the road against Virginia. Jets take Zach Wilson at number 2, if they take Zach Wilson. I saw this kid a couple of times at BYU, Kark. I'm telling you, he does not have the receivers that Trevor Lawrence had, that Mac Jones had, that Justin Fields had. And some of the throws he made, I don't care who you're playing, that's going to play at the next level. I was unbelievably impressed. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes type stuff. Now, he could very well go to the Jets, and there goes his mojo because you get that Jets karma. But I'm believing in Zach Wilson as a member of Gang Green.
You can do that, but you also need to believe that Jet fans will boo regardless, right? You're from the state.
We're used to disappointment. Lucas Quinn makes it 4-2, his second of the game. Now, Syracuse fans turned John Desko into a hashtag last week. They got to like what they're seeing so far.
Quinn can hammer it. Mentioned earlier with his first goal, incredible wrist strength. Watch how he snaps this, just bam. Alex Rode is a lefty goalie. Look at the placement there. That is terrific placement on a lefty goalie. With ball movement and a hammer of a shot, the Orange are alive.
Syracuse has won every face-off in this game. That has been the most surprising development. Now 7 of 7. Here comes Kennedy.
Anish, someone showed you that face-off breakdown and didn't put a team name on it. 7-0. Talk to me.
Petey.
That's why they play the game. That's why you have to give the benefit of the doubt to a kid like Jacob Fopp, who's been on the bad side of the headlines in ACC play.
Brendan Curry misses high. He had a great game, 7 points against Virginia the first time out. Well, on yard sale this past week, we retired the relaxin' jinx with Paul Carcaterra, but a new one may have formed. Here's Trimboli down the alley. Carolyn Darney, our friend who writes for the Virginia blog, Streaking the Lawn, did a great piece on Petey LaSala this week, and maybe Darney's put the jinx on him.
The Darney jinx?
Rafis against Koloji. Over to Dordovic. Finds Rafis going low. It'll stay with the Cuse.
You saw that shot by Rafis, who's hit 2 pipes. This time he brings it up a little bit. On those pipe shots, he was shooting low, using the earth. If that's on cage, that's a goal.
Curry to Trimboli, who caught it in traffic and finished. Now this is a team playing with a little more life today, 5-2.
This is like straight boomerang stuff. Curry force feeds the crease, and it looks like the Virginia defense thinks the ball's on the grass. Trimboli, one of the orange shooters from the midfield. Hello, they got about 4 of them. And Trimboli's got 2, Quinn's got 2. Dordovic and Curry, the headliners in 2021. You saw Curry feeding the ball. They haven't gotten it going yet. If they come to the party, the Orange can throw 5-6 midfielders at you, and it's really hard to game plan in regards to who do you put your top defensive midfield group on.
Petey LaSala cannot solve Jacob Fopp at the face-off X. That has been his kryptonite this year. 4 of the 5 goals by Syracuse coming from the midfield. Remember, no Chase Scanlon, suspended indefinitely. I got the sense from a couple of people close to the program that it would be a big surprise if he ever played for Syracuse again. Here comes Dordovic. Back to Trimboli. 2 goals already. Seabold beats Road. 4 straight by the Cuse.
One word to describe this goal: patience. Dordovic goes down the alley, kicks it back to Trimboli up top. The defense converges, and Owen Seabold, Chase Scanlon's replacement, he shows you, well, I can plant, I can rip, I can score.
Syracuse seems to have figured him out. Today, 0 for 8, the first meeting, 11 of 30. And he's not going to take this face-off, Kark.
Well, you know, Lars Tiffany, this is a good move. I think you let PD regroup, let him catch his breath, and this is Gavin Ty, who's one of the strongest players on the Virginia team. He owns the weight room. Fopp is a wrestler. He has the mentality to bounce back.
And Ty wins the first face-off for Virginia. The Cavaliers still without a shot, Kark, in this second quarter.
It's exactly what I was getting at earlier, too, Anish. Like, Petey LaSala can absolutely crush Gavin Ty in practice, right? But Gavin Ty might be a better matchup against Jacob Fopp. I mean, Fopp is under 50% against ACC competition. Petey LaSala, outside of Syracuse, is unequivocally the top face-off guy in the ACC.
He has proven that. Schellenberger has assisted on both Virginia goals. Over to Jeff Connor, who had 4 goals in a win against Carolina. Now Doc Sakin. Schellenberger draws the slide over to Cormier. His shot altered, and Murphy's going to win the race.
What a hustle by Murphy. Oh, they're giving it to
I guess
Virginia.
they're going to say Laviano won it. Wow.
Closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. I don't know if I agree with that, Anish.
More against Wyckoff. Here's Schellenberger drawing the pole. He's got Kennedy, now Aiken against Dearth. What a matchup. Aiken skip pass, knocked down by Wyckoff. 2 on a shot clock. Moore's got to put it on Cage. And Syracuse's defense stands tall. Now strong defensive possession.
You saw the wrinkle. We saw a zone out of Syracuse, and I think that was a smart move by defensive coordinator Leland Rogers. Give Virginia a few looks. You don't want to be too heavy with the zone. This team can spin that ball at hyperspeed and get into a flow. But if you give a little bit of a dose of zone here and there, that's the changeup you want.
John Desko saying it was a point of emphasis in practice to mix in a little zone against Carolina, and especially that first midfield. I think you're wary of playing too much zone with the shooters they have, Anderson and Perry from the outside. But this is a defense searching for answers. No Nick DiPietro today. Thin at the defensive midfield behind Dearth. Charlie Bertrand, 300 career points. Now Peter Garno, Porter the save. Quick programming note, Maryland Johns Hopkins will be on ESPN2 following our game. Syracuse rolling, Owen Hiltz, his second. Now the Orange in transition, that is 5 unanswered.
This is exactly how you practice transition. From defense to offense with a pole. Brett Barlow, 41 in orange, does an amazing job off of Peter Dearth, who physically can punt return clear at will. But Barlow doesn't get selfish. A lot of poles there in that spot. Their hands are free. They think they have a shot. No, you don't. Give it to your ball handlers. And Owen Hiltz parks right in the middle. And Owen Seabold, who's on that bottom right, he understands where the next cut's coming. That was picture-perfect transition offense.
We just need Owen Wilson for the trifecta. Another face-off one. That was Ty again, and help from Connors off the wing. Connors has been a vacuum off the turf of late. 27 ground balls in his last 3 games.
Yeah, you look at Connors, his ability to own the rug. For non-face-off guys, to put it in perspective, he's got twice as many ground balls as any Syracuse player. I mean, he's just unbelievable at getting those 50-50 ground balls.
Here comes Schellenberger. Over to Dox Aiken. Aiken through a triple team, jarred loose. Wyckoff has it. Now Virginia having issues translating possessions into shots. Let's see if they can make up for it with the ride. We get a whistle. Loose ball push on Virginia. Syracuse ball. Shot clock resets to 80.
The Syracuse offense is finding their groove, and they've been incredibly unselfish. Their 5 last goals, all assisted by 5 different players. What does that tell you? Everyone is enjoying the offensive prowess right now, and they're all involved, which makes it so difficult for a defense to understand where is the offense coming from.
Peyton Cormier is trapped on defense. 24 in white. Now they get it to Seabold now. That's the matchup against Cormier. Seabold shoots, saved by Rode. New shot clock, and the possession extends for Syracuse. It feels as if the Orange have had the ball this entire quarter. A timeout by Virginia.
Timeout. Yeah, do you know why?
To get Cormier out of there.
Cormier off the field. Love the matchups, and you know, he didn't have Cade Sawstead on Stephen Rafis, who's the quarterback of the Orange. He wanted to try some different things, and he's made some adjustments, obviously. Sawstead now is on Rafis, so it's 1 versus 1.
This is Virginia's final game until the NCAA tournament. No ACC tournament this year, so Virginia after today won't play for at least 3 weeks. May 15th or 16th will be Virginia's next game, and a loose ball hold against Virginia. It stays with Syracuse, new 80.
That's the longest layoff I've ever heard heading into an NCAA tournament, and that concerns me a little bit. Like, what do you do for those 3 weeks? Do you have intense practices, inter-squad scrimmages? I mean, Syracuse is playing in a game for the regular season in 2 weeks on May 8th. So if they go into the tournament, they're fresh off a game and feeling competition.
Syracuse has Notre Dame next weekend, and then they are looking to add a game on May 7th. That is a Friday. Hearing it might be Robert Morris. Not confirmed by Syracuse, but they are trying to find an opponent. Owen Hiltz. Rode stopped it. Big save. Can Virginia get some momentum? Still plenty of time in this first half.
I'd like to see some transition, too. They haven't had any opportunities to strike from defense to offense. We saw Syracuse score on a Hiltz goal from Siebold that Brett Barlow took from defense to offense. Virginia's known as a run-and-gun team where they have the athletes in the middle of the field. They need to find some transition.
I think our camera got fooled. Dixon had it all the way. Couldn't see Dixon. He was out of our frame, so I don't know if Syracuse was caught napping there. They tried the hidden ball trick. Let's see if the replay offers up a little more evidence.
Dixon had a big day against Utah. So Garneau has the ball, gets it to Dixon. What we're not seeing on the other side of the screen, there was another Virginia ball player that was carrying the ball where some Syracuse defenders could have been caught napping right there. There's Ian Laviano, right? Brett Kennedy thinks Ian Laviano has the ball. I mean, he 100% is convinced Ian Laviano has the ball. And Garneau senses that too. And when Kennedy goes and follows Laviano, some of the eyes of the defense did so as well. Gave him that fraction of an extra second or two.
Gavin Ty jumped. Third face-off violation for Virginia. So now for every successive violation at the X for Virginia, Syracuse will have a 30-second man up until the first half ends.
Yep, so Petey had the 2. It's a team foul, though. So he had 2, Gavin Ty gets 1. It doesn't matter.
Syracuse 0 for 1 with the extra man. 43% on the season entering play. Dordovic loses Connors. Looking for Quinn. Looks like we got a loose ball foul on Syracuse. John Desko was trying to call timeout, but there was no possession. Clark, Virginia just has not had the ball enough on offense to get into any kind of a rhythm.
You know, and Syracuse has the zone defense out there. As good as Virginia is, they haven't been extremely proficient as a man-up team, which is like zone-oriented offense. They do better when they can draw a guy and then spin the rock. And this Syracuse zone right now is making Virginia think.
It has slowed down this offense. You can see it. Moore against Earth. Over to Dixon. Xander Dixon has come to play. Back-to-back goals at 7-4.
And he's showing some range. So Dearth is caught behind the cage with Matt Moore. Okay, Matt Moore is one of the best players in the country, so Syracuse has to support that matchup. And they really slough towards the crease area, giving Dixon time and room. And we saw on the hidden ball trick, step, rip, hit the back of the net. Well, he does it again. Dixon with his 8th of the season. He's feeling it.
We talked about Virginia's depth of scoring having improved. Dixon's another one. Syracuse continues to dominate the face-off X. 10 out of 12 in this first half. The Orange came into this game having won just 41% of its face-offs in ACC play. Jamie Trimboli down the alley. Siebold now starting in place of Chase Scanlon. Suspended indefinitely. That was Syracuse's top goal scorer. Rafis against Kaloji. Rafis. He's been quiet today. We have not said that often this year. He's had at least 3 points in every game. Siebold looking to get past Merle. Here's Rafis, 0 for 5 against Sawstead. Good recovery by 11. Here comes Siebold, trying to get top side on a bounce to Rafis. Has his man hung up. Shot clock at 1. Rafis beats the shot clock and scores.
That's a killer. Virginia buckled down and played some good short stick defense. They had Syracuse exactly where they wanted. Then late in the possession, Rafis hangs the defense up. And honestly, Cade Sawstead thinks he has no angle at that spot, right? Just by the way he approaches Rafis, he doesn't even look at him as a threat. When Rafis releases that ball, Sawstead has to meet Rafis outside of that crease area with a hard check.
Stephen Rafis accepted to Albany Law, deferred his enrollment for a year, chasing a championship with the rest of his teammates.
And that's why this 5-4 start, Anish, has been a tough pill to swallow for this team and the fans and the alum, because it was championship or bust. Drake Porter told me in February, I asked him straight up, what are your expectations? Championship or bust? They ended the season as the #1 team in the nation in 2020.
Rafis again, rode out of the cage. Now he trades places with Sawstead, who comes out to meet Rafis. Lucas Quinn. Peel got into that shot. Yeah, you're right. Porter said anything less is a failure. A program that has not won a championship since 2009. Hasn't been to championship weekend since 2013. That's an eon for this program. 6'7" Kastner out to meet Siebold. 39 in white, has a bright future in Charlottesville.
6'7" Kastner. That's all you got to say, right? That reach. Tony Bennett's going to want him playing defense for him.
Liam Ferris, his shot saved, and the rebound appealed.
This is what I'm talking about. You have to clear the ball and strike an early offense. When Syracuse jumps into this zone, oftentimes by the time you make the subs, the shot clock starts just dwindling.
We remind you, Maryland Hopkins is on ESPN2, a network change. Jason Benetti, Quint Kesnick will have the call. Maryland's longtime offensive coordinator, Bobby Benson, now the OC, or I should say Johns Hopkins' longtime OC, Bobby Benson, now the OC at Maryland. Terps have looked unbeatable in the Big Ten. I'd be surprised if they're not undefeated when the season ends. Regular season is, that is. Here comes Matt Moore. Shot clock at 20. He lost it. Kennedy's there. Kennedy doubled.
What
over to
pass
Wyckoff.
by Kennedy.
Pass for Hiltz, gets away. Laviano will let it roll. It dies, inbounds. This could be a big possession for Virginia here in the last minute. Only a 4-goal game, and as we saw Thursday night, that's not a whole lot.
No, runs happen in this league. You're not safe with 4 goals unless there's like 2 minutes left on the clock.
Dixon, his pass batted down. Still not sure how Notre Dame lost that game. Timeout, John Desco. Syracuse in conference play had struggled at the face-off X. The clearing game had been weak, but not today. 11 of 13 at the X, 11 of 14 on clears, but our friends at Lax Reference probably have the time of possession battle numbers somewhere out there in the lacrosse ether. The time of possession has belonged to Syracuse. They've maintained a pretty significant possession advantage in this game.
Well, look, when you don't win face-offs, Notre Dame, I think, is kind of the standard in terms of how do you win games when you don't win face-offs. You have to be incredibly clean clearing the ball. Notre Dame sometimes can be over 90%. You have to force turnovers in the middle of the field. Syracuse hasn't cleared the ball, hasn't forced turnovers in the middle of the field, and they've been losing face-offs prior to today. So that's a recipe for disaster. When this offense has the ball, they score goals on anyone. I mean, just look at the numbers in terms of scoring per possession. This is a frightening offense.
And Syracuse +6 on ground balls today. Coming up at halftime, we've got the Lax Top 5. Connor Schellenberger will make an appearance, and relaxing with Peacock featuring ESPN's Mike Golick Jr. Friend of the game, friend of ours, big Notre Dame lacrosse fan. I was on a text thread with him Thursday night. Boy, you should have seen the emotions there.
Oh, boy. So Dordovic has the ball. He's getting Connors on him. So I'm looking for Trimboli or Curry to get to the rack here.
There is Trimboli, save, Rode. 8 saves by Alex Rode, final seconds. The first half comes to an end. All Syracuse.
Zone. Virginia can counter that with early offense. What I mean by early offense, with an 80-second shot clock, you clear the ball at 60 seconds. You need to start thinking and taking some chances before Syracuse can set up in their zone.
Petey Lasala back out there. Faup wins the faceoff. Poor shot. It comes to Rode. Faup has not scored a goal in his career. He's a little different than Lasala, more of a Fogo. Face-off, get off. Dox Aiken, Jeff Connor, Connor Schellenberger, the first midfield for Virginia. Here's Aiken against Peter Dirth. Spins it back to Schellenberger, and now out to Matt Moore. 45 straight games with a point. Moore's got the matchup to Shorty Alexo. Sam Alexo's brother, Kean. Seeing the zone. Moore off mark.
We lost you for a second, buddy. I'm glad you're back.
I didn't even know I was gone. I was talking the whole time.
You've done that to me before.
I just thought you weren't listening, that's all. Here comes Connor, shot clock running down, and Jeff Connor makes it 8-5. He has been awakened and activated in the second half of the season.
Yes, he has, Anish. Conference play, really impressed when I turned the tape on against North Carolina. A way you could beat the zone also, dodge it. Get the defense to communicate and pass the player on. When you're dodging and you're drawing, you can find the next 2-on-1. Well, Connor, in that particular spot, took it all on his own shoulders, and Petey jumps again.
So first face-off violation of the second half now for Petey LaSala. The violations reset at halftime, 3 in 1 half. And the opposition goes man up for 30 seconds, and that is on every successive violation from there on after. (13-2) Syracuse on face-offs. Tucker Dordovic coming off a 4-goal game, the lone bright spot against Carolina. Syracuse spinning it. Siebold to Rafis, who's got his second.
This is beautiful offense, and I'll tell you why. Initial Dodger knows he has a shorty on him, so Dordovic knows slide's going to come early. It's not dodge to assist. It's dodge to pass to assist. It's the two-away. That is where offense is at its best in the sport of lacrosse. When you have a guy like Dordovic who can be the initiator, then it's one pass, then it's 2 passes and a score.
Another face-off to Syracuse. (39) Cole Kastner, the 6'7" Colossus, continues to get more run defensively for Virginia. Started to see him a few weeks ago. Played some big minutes against Duke. There's Kastner using his length. Trimboli trying to scoop it. And Virginia the forced turnover. Who else? The human Roomba, Jared Connors.
Connors gets that ground ball, but the freshman, Kastner, I mean, just, you know about the length, but also the aggressive nature, too, to stalk Dordovic so far out in that offensive set. I like this young guy.
Garno off the scramble, in trouble, was about to go out of bounds. And Virginia coughs it up. Now the Syracuse ride giving Virginia trouble, and then just sloppiness. Garno painted himself into a corner.
Anish, you know how we talk about Syracuse these prior weeks, not winning faceoffs, not clearing. Well, that's the script with Virginia today.
Yeah.
So you have to find possessions if you're Virginia. They're not accustomed to getting worked at the faceoff X in the last couple months. Where are you finding these possessions? Well, clearing the ball cleanly is a must, and they haven't been doing that.
16, Brendan Curry had a 7-point game against Virginia in late February. 3 goals, 4 assists. Oh, he lost his man. Finding Curry. Feeding for Hiltz. It's popped into the air. Curry stays with it. Stays in bounds. 20 to shoot. Rafis against Sawstead. Rafis to the middle. Fakes the pass. Rafis skips it wide. 5 to shoot. And Siebold will dump it into the corner. Kark, I look at the score, 9-5. Now, we saw on Thursday, Duke was down 5 to Notre Dame in the fourth quarter, a game that never really felt close, and then all of a sudden Duke goes on this run, ties the game, wins it in overtime. It feels like Syracuse should be up 7 or 8. 4 in the ACC is not a lot.
No, it's nothing. And you feel that way just by taking in the pace of this game, right? At half, Virginia has 11 shots. So a Virginia team that has 11 shots, you're not really at panic mode when you're playing a team like Virginia that is accustomed to just flying all over the field and getting 50 shots in a game. So you feel like, okay, we must be near perfect, but 4 goals is nothing.
Xander Dixon has 3 of the Virginia 6.
Well, this guy wants more playing time, and he's putting it on tape. We saw 2 rips from Dixon with the right hand from the outside. Now we see him coming from behind with his left hand. This is real versatility from 10 and White. 3 different goals, all from a variety in his arsenal. Xander Dixon, 1/3 of the goals he scored in 2021 today.
Lars Tiffany told me early in the season Dixon was telegraphing his shots. He was always shooting low. 3 goals today at a 4-point game last Saturday against Utah. Faup wins another faceoff. Now Syracuse has to get it across midfield before the shot clock hits 60, and they do with ease.
Yeah, Dixon's heating up, and every championship team needs that guy to emerge, right?
Yep.
I remember in 1995 when I was on the Syracuse national championship team, we had a guy, Nick Liccamelli. He was kind of under the radar the entire season. When late April and May came, he played amazing, and he gave us another superstar on the offensive end that we didn't have earlier in the season. It changed the complexity of our offense and all the matchups.
Go back to, what was it, 2017, I believe, DeMayo for Maryland. Quiet all season, then scores some huge goals in the postseason. Here's Liam Ferris, 6'1" freshman. Big upside. Reminds John Desko a little of Owen Siebold.
Similar body. Right hand can go both ways, though. Here's Siebold right now. He's got a matchup here. Looks like Kastner, who is by far the biggest dude on the field at 6'7". I mean, he can make up for a misstep here or there. And this is the big matchup.
Siebold's 6'2", 6'3", and Kastner just dwarfs him. Sawstead knocks it loose. Shot clock winding down. And this is Virginia ball. Connors a threat in transition. 18 career goals. Looking for Laviano. Now that was Bauer, excuse me.
But that's the transition.
Bauer against Utah had 3 shots. All of them were good. A couple on the doorstep and went 0 for 3. You felt for him. Dax Aiken's been awfully quiet today. Matt Moore just 1 assist. And you look at the goals. The last 4 goals for Virginia. 3 by Dixon, 1 by the man who's got it, Jeff Connor. It has not been the usual suspects. Dax Aiken, bouncer.
So we've seen a mixture of man and zone. And those change-ups by Leland Rogers, the defensive coordinator, forces Virginia to recalibrate.
Aiken with a rocket. And just like that, it's a 2-goal game.
He's always been big time in big spots. Born to score, Dax Aiken. He's got range. He can let it fly, and it's senior day. Willing the Cavaliers to get back in this game.
Old Spice College Lacrosse is brought to you by Old Spice. Smell ready for anything.
April 28th, the ACC Women's Lacrosse Tournament. I don't want to call it the North Carolina Invitational just yet, but that team is on an all-time trajectory. Hogue, Ortega, Marino. I mean, so much talent across the board for Jenny Levy.
Yeah, but some of those teams have given the others in the ACC some hope. I mean, they only beat Notre Dame by 1. They beat Duke by 1.
Yeah.
When they're on their game, no one is beating them.
A lot of eyes on BC as well. Charlotte North, if you have not seen her, as exciting a player as there is in lacrosse, men
100%.
or women.
Yes, I've said it multiple times. You've heard me. She's my favorite player in the sport, men's or women's. Unbelievable talent. She's from Dallas, Texas. Amazing stick skills, and she is such a competitor, too.
Same high school, I believe, as Nikai Montgomery of Duke.
Yes, Episcopal.
Big save by Rode. Virginia can close to within 1. 10 saves for Alex Rode, and it seems odd, right, that this game is this close given how it's played out?
Yes, you feel like Virginia is ready to pop, right? 5 of the last 8 shots have been the Cavaliers after a half of only 11, so they're finding some offense. You know, when Syracuse goes into the zone, I think Virginia needs to be aggressive and dodge. Get the zone to move.
Xander Dixon to Peter Garno. Dixon, the redshirt sophomore out of Greenwich, Connecticut, having one of his best games as a Cavalier. Certainly his best game against this type of competition.
Keep him
Zone
on the
buster.
field. Keep him on the field, Anish. You know, we've seen him do it as a shooter with the 3 goals, but this time the Syracuse defense respects him as an initiator. So they press to him, he keeps his eyes up, and he finds Peter Garno, who's on the extra man. He's got a cannon from the outside. So Xander Dixon has been the difference in this game.
3 goals and an assist. A loose ball push against Virginia. Syracuse ball. Another face-off won by the Orange. Dixon had a big game against VMI a few years ago. 7 goals. 4 points against Utah last week. He's been an invert option, and Lars Tiffany might be thinking, okay, Syracuse is going to go zone. Let's put another passer out there. So now Dixon, who's a natural attackman, with Schellenberger, with Moore. Another save by Rode. Sawstead has the carom off the cross of Bauer. Momentum on Virginia's side. UVA looking for the equalizer. Big face-off advantage for Syracuse. Big shot advantage for Syracuse. It feels like the Orange have brought their A game. Virginia has not played well, and yet here we are. It's a 1-goal game late in the third.
I think Virginia is finding some rhythm when Syracuse goes zone. They have the playmakers as perimeter shooters, too. Matt Moore can shoot from the outside. Garno can shoot from the outside. Dixon has shown it.
Bertrand hits the pipe. Garno closest to the ball when it went out. Virginia ball. And Lars Tiffany Kark is keeping Xander Dixon out with this offensive unit.
I would hope so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's been such a spark for the Cavaliers. Their knowns have been quiet. Matt Moore, Connor Schellenberger, not hearing much from them. You just knew a Virginia run was going to come. The question now is, can Syracuse answer?
Here's Matt Moore. 1 assist today, looking for his first goal. Charlie Bertrand, 2-time Division II Player of the Year at Merrimack. 300 career points, 230 of them goals. Had a couple the first 2 times these teams played. Garno looking for the tie and a save by Porter.
Did you see the top hand of Porter? because Garneau lets it fly over 90 miles an hour. That top hand speed of Drake Porter to make that save across his face was incredible.
Porter came into the season regarded as arguably the best goalie in the country. Goalie play across the ACC as good as it's ever been. Everybody's got a stud.
And you need one.
It's Siebold, and that's his second.
You got to dig deep. You got to make a stop. You have to answer Virginia's run. How are you going to do it? Well, you're going to start with that guy right there, Drake Porter, who made the amazing save on the other end, giving life to his offense. And Chase Scanlon's replacement. It's Owen Siebold, 6'2", out of Dallas, Texas. Goes from behind the cage at X, shows you that burst, low-angle shooting ability, and strength to cannon.
Siebold's dad, Bob, was on that first Syracuse championship team in 1983. Face-off violation number 2 on Virginia. So one more, and Syracuse will have an extra man for every violation the rest of the way until we get to overtime, if we get to overtime. Not assuming overtime, but in these ACC games.
It's ACC. Well, with the violation, we've known Petey to be an amazing face-off specialist when he has 2 violations. Today looks like a different day, though, right? Just in terms of the body language and the flow from LaSalla.
Here's Trimboli over to Dordovic. Kastner staying with Tucker Dordovic, fourth-year sophomore from Portland. Now Rafis has the short stick matchup, Soliday. Rafis down the alley with that right-handed cradle. Fakes the pass. Still plenty of time to shoot. Feeding the crease. Hiltz! Stinging corners! The hat trick for Owen Hiltz.
Certain things in lacrosse you can't teach. One of them is crease awareness and sixth sense to catch the ball, turn, and shoot all in one motion. This is a next-level finish by Owen Hiltz. He catches the ball with his back to the goal. And in one motion, he spots the front of the crease area in the cage and stings the opposite corner.
The number 2 freshman coming out of high school. Played at Culver, a lacrosse factory. Fopp had the face-off one. 19-2.
They've used 3, Anish. They've used 3 guys at the face-off X now. Gable Braun's in there for Virginia. So we've seen Gavin Ty, we've seen Petey LaSalla, and we've seen Gable Braun. And the common denominator is no one has Jacob Fopp's number today.
It's amazing. Fopp, after dominating LaSalla in the first meeting, in the next 3 ACC games, was 6 for 28, 21%. A good look here, Dordovic.
That's what he wants. He wants that step down from about 10.
Syracuse led by 4 at the half. Virginia closed to 9-8. Siebold and Hiltz have made it 11-8. Dordovic feeding the crease. Rafis turned around. 20 to shoot. Less than a minute to play in the third. Rafis lost it. Intercepted by Rode. Let's see what Virginia gets here. This series has been defined by close games. In fact, before the February meeting, Syracuse and Virginia had not only split the first 36 meetings between the two schools, they had scored the exact same number of goals.
That's insane. That's so nutty.
Schellenberger. Labiano did not have an angle. 10 seconds. Schellenberger's got 2 assists. Leads the team in that category. He gets free. Fires with the left hand right to Porter. A dozen saves for Drake Porter. The Canadian fired up in goal. Syracuse has lost 3 ACC games in a row, the last 2 in blowout fashion. Looking for a little late season momentum. Virginia got close. Hiltz, the hat trick. 11-8 Syracuse. We head to the 4th.
Domination, 19 for 21. Head-to-head with P.D. LaSalla, he's perfect. LaSalla is 0 for 11. The Warrior, Fop.
It's amazing. LaSalla, we were talking pregame. He's been, when you consider who he's faced and the numbers he's put up, arguably the best face-off man in the country. T.D. Erlin has not played a full season. And Fop has taken his lunch money, 19 out of 21. And it's going to be Gable Braun, not P.D. LaSalla, to begin the 4th quarter. LaSalla was facing off at 84% in the 4th quarter entering today, but it's Gable Braun, freshman out of Florida. And Jacob Fop wins another.
The mental toughness, Anish, because you know this Syracuse program as well as anyone. The buzz around the Orange, right? Can they win faceoffs? I mean, that was one of the top headline items the last few weeks, right? They can't win because they can't win faceoffs. Well, Jacob Fop is their guy, and he heard the noise. And to have this kind of mental toughness, to come down to Charlottesville and put on this kind of show, it's amazing. You know he's a wrestler. You know mentally he's super, super tough. You know, as much as we're seeing Xander Dixon, I think, emerge for Virginia on the offensive end as a whistle's blown.
Oh, that's a big break for Virginia. Soliday in transition. He's got 4 career goals. Over to Matt Moore. Where's Moore? Where's Aiken? 4th quarter. Doc's time, as Lars Tiffany likes to say.
There's Xander. So I was saying earlier, Xander Dixon has delivered. The other player who I'm blown away with in this game is Cole Kastner. I think he has graded out at near perfect for Virginia. The freshman, 6'7", and you think of a guy 6'7", how are his feet? His feet are exceptional for a big dude.
Bertrand's pass is picked off. Syracuse has done a good job against the Virginia Ride today. The 200th lacrosse game played at Klockner Stadium. 38th meeting between these two. 19-18 Syracuse by virtue of that February win by 10 goals. Flag down against Virginia.
They were offsides. Yep, I think they were offsides. Klockner is an amazing place to watch lacrosse. There's not a bad seat in the house when the lawn is packed. It's always one of those places when I see the schedule, and if that's where I am broadcasting, smile on my face. This place is lit.
Give me Klockner at night, 8 days out of the week. Dordovic against Bauer. Now it's Curry. He's got Dixon trapped. Big save. And Syracuse will go man up.
Yeah, it looked like when Syracuse was clearing the ball, one of the Virginia attackmen went off sides.
White 25. Oh. Did you talk to him about having 8
I
forward?
asked him, he said 25. White 25.
It's got to be the number
25
4.
white, offside. 36.
It's not the number of the guy. You got because of the subbing.
Okay.
He's got to count 8 forward.
I understand.
They're talking about the number of the player. Regardless, you have to have 3 offensive players on that side of the midline.
Syracuse 0 for 2 with the extra man. Scanlon was always a weapon on the extra man. He's not playing. Brendan Curry is. It's back to a 4-goal lead for the Orange.
Curry's Johnny on the spot. You see the C on his chest. He's a team favorite. Loved by all his Orange teammates. Known to play in space. This time he's on that backside. Camped out for the quick stick. Curry delivers. I love Curry's off the field game too. The Hangry Chef. He's got an Instagram handle. Anish, I'll tell you, for someone who loves food, he really gets it done in the kitchen. If you look at his handle and you look at his pictures, and he feeds all these guys. I hope they're giving him a couple of extra bucks in terms of helping out with the feast, because this guy gets it done for a college kid. I'm blown away by what he puts on the table.
Well, Lucas Quinn knew what was right. He found Curry on that skip pass, making sure the guy who feeds everybody gets fed as well. Now, Jacob Thaupe has been sensational today. What a bounce-back game and a bounce-back effort for Syracuse. They withstood that Virginia charge when the Cavaliers cut it to 9-8.
Well, that's why you love sports, and that's why you love ACC lacrosse. This is actually, much as everyone thought Virginia would come in here and maybe reverse the score from February, this is kind of consistent with ACC lacrosse, right? Just when you think you know what's going on, you have no clue.
You don't have a clue. Even Duke, who has beaten everybody in conference and is 4-1, all 4 wins by a goal, 3 in overtime. Liam Ferris, his shot saved, and against Virginia, Duke won because Charlie Bertrand was in the goal mouth. That took away a goal. Pat Cavanaugh lost the shoe.
The shoe game.
Again, Duke, even at 4-1, as Kastner brings it up.
No, they're not a comfortable 4-1.
They're not a comfortable 4-1. They have not looked invincible. Aiken to Schellenberger. And now Virginia has it 6 on. Schellenberger against Grant Murphy. Murphy the Texan. Connor against Alexo. Little 2-man game with Schellenberger. Good defense there by Alexo.
Defense, yeah.
Syracuse thin in the defensive midfield. Shot clock winding down. Aiken over to Schellenberger. It's Porter who was closest when the ball went out, and Syracuse gets it. Now the ride. Winning face-offs really set the tone for Syracuse.
You think?
They've won 13 in a row. That's going to be the hardest part for Virginia if they are to come back.
Yeah, and if I'm Lars Tiffany, regardless, you've tried the 3 guys. I don't care in the fourth quarter. I'm rolling out Petey every time. I'm gonna win or lose with him.
Jamie Trimboli, and Syracuse matches its largest lead at 5. First hat trick of the season for the 5th-year senior out of Victor.
It seems like he's been the forgotten guy, right, on this offense. Rafis has blown up in 2021. You have Curry, you have Dordovic. This is a multi-time first-team All-ACC midfielder who is born to score goals. Like, he knows how to score. As much as Owen Hiltz does at the attack spot, Trimboli's calling card throughout his career has been able finding ways with that right hand to make it rain.
Now, Petey LaSala has not had an afternoon today. This is like Alexander and the no good, terrible, horrible, very bad day. 3 face-off violations on Virginia, so Syracuse will go man up, looking to tack on to to this 5-goal lead.
You know, as much as Jacob Fopp has rebounded and answered the bell and shut up all the critics, take a look at Petey LaSalla. I guarantee you he responds from this outing. I guarantee you.
He's going to have to wait 3 weeks. That's the problem here for Virginia. Whatever happens in this game, win or lose, they don't have another game until the NCAA tournament. Lars Tiffany was telling us the ACC lets you schedule 15 games. That includes a scrimmage. Virginia scrimmaged Division III Lynchburg. Trimboli, that one just wide. This is their 14th game. So there is nothing left for Virginia to schedule. No opportunity to add a game. 3 weeks between games, and that next game is win or go home.
Yeah, like I said, that's the longest I've ever
Save
heard of a team
road
from regular season to end into the playoffs.
Not on the side.
50 shots now for Syracuse, new shot clock. And with a 5-goal lead, Syracuse can be patient, although, as we saw on Thursday, a 5-goal lead, 8 minutes to go. Not a sure thing in this league, although Virginia hasn't won faceoffs. What was it against
shots.
Maryland? Maryland in 2019 in the quarters. Virginia was down, 5? With about 7-8 minutes to play?
Yes, but they didn't have 22 shots, right? The flow of the game was much different. It just feels crazy to see that stat. 22 shots for the Cavaliers. That's mind-boggling.
There was a lot of talk this week about Syracuse and their tournament hopes. Now, the NCAA has not said this year if you have to finish above 500 to be eligible. That's been the case in the past. And Syracuse has Virginia and then Notre Dame, and they're trying to add one more game after that. A win today not only secures a spot in the field for Syracuse, I think it gives them a seed. 2 wins against Virginia, you can take that to the committee, and it's a pretty weak at-large field this year. There's not a ton of teams. Who else is in consideration? Army, maybe. They've got the Syracuse win.
Denver,
although I saw they were down by...
mix.
Yeah, but again, Georgetown's best win is Denver. Denver's best win is Georgetown. Syracuse would have 2 Virginia wins. Rutgers right now, the best thing on their resume is, hey, we hung with Maryland for 3 quarters the first time we played them. No disrespect to Rutgers, tournament team, but what does 2 wins against Ohio State mean this year? Ohio State's beaten Michigan and Hopkins, the 2 worst teams in the Big Ten by far.
I agree with you. I think Rutgers is, without question, getting into the tournament, but they don't have a win that would give them a seed, right? Like, they don't have a win to hang their hat on in terms of, like, okay, we deserve to be a seed based on this W, right?
Yeah, I don't see it. Quinn, there's Kastner again. He's been marvelous.
There he is. This guy, wow, ceiling.
He's going to be a stud. A loose ball push on Virginia and a new 80.
The new 80 is what's crippling. The new 80. Syracuse gets their first midfield back on the field.
You know what that felt like? And I say this because I watched Mortal Kombat yesterday. That felt like the guy saying, finish him.
Oh, you're too much. You know, you mentioned something earlier. It's really resonating with me. The layoff until May 15th is one thing, but like the layoff to May 15th, ending the season like this.
Yes.
To me, it's very uneasy if you're a Cavalier fan.
What do you do in that span? You got 3 weeks.
I think you have to have a plan where, like, the first week is very light, and I think the second week needs to be intense with some real big-time competitive inter-squad scrimmages where you're getting after it, you're running hard, and you're lifting, and then you taper that third week. I don't know. Do you ever recall that kind of a layoff from the end of the regular season? No, I've heard the 2 weeks.
We have seen 2 weeks, and here's the danger for Virginia, right? If you lose this game, Garneau misses high, you're now probably going to be seated in that most likely 4, 5, 6 range. 4 probably is out of the question. Matt Moore finds the back of the net. It's 13-9. Cavaliers saying, hey, stop getting into stories just yet. We're not done. But you're in that 4, 5, 6 range. That could mean a Georgetown in round 1 or a Lehigh or an Army. And if you're asleep early and you don't wake up in that game, let's take a look at Jacob Thaup, who was ready for anything today, brought to you by Old Spice. He had been facing off at 21% in his previous 3 ACC games. Today he played the game of his life, 22 out of 24, against Petey Lasala, who had been the best face-off man in the ACC coming into today.
Well, look, Thaup has been dominant. In Virginia, their 2 face-off wins. Well, that's the lowest since 2009. It's staggering. And this is what you love about sports. This is what you love about college sports, and a player and his teammates rallying around him. And he's one of the guys, when you talk to the Syracuse players, they love Jacob Thaup. You know, he's part of that class with Tucker Dordovic and Brendan Curry. They all live together. They all hang out together. They wanted him to be able to adjust, answer the bell, and have a performance like this.
Huge by Alex Rode. With 4 minutes to go, Virginia's got a lifeline. 15 saves for the most outstanding player of that 2019 championship run, Alex Rode. The issue for Virginia, okay, let's say you score. Can you get the ball back? Here's Bertrand to the cage. Bertrand scores, 13-10. Here come the cardiac Cavs, Kark.
Alex Rode has played with a huge X on his back, where in 2019 he had to be the difference. Charlie Bertrand's new to the Cavaliers. He's got the pedigree from his past experiences in college to be a dominant goal scorer. Why? Because he's a lefty, he's big, he's strong, and he will dominate a short stick.
All right, Kark, you told me before the game, huge face-off in crunch time. Lasala's the guy you want. You still want him in this spot on this day?
I'll always want Petey.
Virginia wins the face-off. It's Merle. Syracuse had won 15 straight face-offs. Boy, that save by Alex Rode gave this team a pulse. They're playing off of it. Moore, his shot bothered and altered. Horan had it. It's on the turf. Big ground ball. Who wants it? Virginia retrieves. It's Schellenberger. Lasala runs off. Here comes Schellenberger. Down the alley. The freshman to the cage. Save, Porter!
This is the biggest clear of the season for Syracuse. Hands down, the biggest clear of the season.
And it's a failed clear. Down 3, 2:21 to go, Virginia ball. Now, we saw craziness on Thursday night. Duke left for dead. 2 late goals by Sowers in the final minute to force overtime. Now Virginia. They don't play for 3 weeks. Moore feeding inside. Bertrand Don't go away!
That clear, or that blown clear from Syracuse. Sam Alexo's just a freshman. Who hunts him down, Anish? Cole Kastner. He's been the most valuable player for Virginia on the defensive end today. An amazing performance. And Charlie Bertrand gets the last 2 goals for the Cavaliers. This is what it's all about. ACC lacrosse.
Entering today, 84%. Fopp trying to handle it. He hits the turf. LaSala tried to jar it loose. Fopp's got it. Kennedy comes up with it. Syracuse trying to play keep away. They can run this clock down. Virginia's going to have to press out, down 2.
Do you have a timeout?
Syracuse has 2 timeouts. There is 0 reason to attack the cage right now. 0. Nothing is more valuable than the ball itself. Alex Rhodes out, so Virginia's doubling. I want Brendan Curry with the ball. He's the fastest player on the field, 16 in orange.
Rhodes slips. Syracuse continues to bleed the clock. Siebold to the inside to Rafis. And they wave it off. He was in the crease. Wow. A minute to go, Virginia ball. Rafis stepped inside the crease on a gimme. Timeout, Virginia, 52 seconds to go. It's an ACC lacrosse game. You knew there was going to be drama.
Nothing is more valuable than the ball. And even if Stephen Rafis scores, you put the ball back at the face-off X.
That's a great call. That left foot was in the crease.
That left foot in the beginning stages of when he was shooting right there. No-brainer, He's in the crease. Nothing's more valuable than the ball. If Rafis milks it there, and then they go deep into that shot clock, you get it well under a minute. The bottom line is, even if he scores, you put it back at the dot.
Big lineup this weekend tonight. ABC, Luka and the Mavs host AD and the Lakers. UFC 261 on pay-per-view. Got the Suns and the Nets on Sunday. Sunday goals. What happened in February, a 10-goal win by the Cuse? That was an outlier. This has been the norm in this rivalry. You think back to the great games. Michael Watson's game winner. 22-21, your senior year, Kark, at the Dome. .45 seconds, Peter Garneau. Bertrand. Moore was calling for it on the skip. Matt Moore fires, save on the rebound! It'll stay with Virginia. 35 seconds to go. Cuse in his zone. Schellenberger feeding the crease, it's knocked down! Wyckoff's got it. He'll flip it ahead. And now Syracuse can play keep away and run out the clock. A timeout by John Desko with 17 seconds to go.
He didn't want the timeout. Someone on the bench must have called it because it looked like Coach Desko was waving it off. You don't want a timeout there. Now Virginia can double the ball and it can do something. Here's the other situation. It's 17 seconds left. If you're in trouble at like 10 seconds, chuck the ball up in the air as high as you can. Game over.
You would imagine it would be Curry triggering here, right?
Speed kills, yes. He's the fastest guy on the field. Where the ball is, he can kind of run it towards the bench with his left hand and milk the clock. They're going to double team him, but the way that he is going to start with the ball and where the ball is located is going to give him plenty of space with his left hand not to get trapped.
Syracuse isn't out of the woods yet. If they hang on to win, now they'll look at this game and they're going to take the win. But when you look at the shot disparity, the face-off advantage, the possession advantage, to walk away only with a 2-goal win, that tells you, okay, there's room for improvement here. For Virginia, if they lose this game, they don't get back in action until at least 3 weeks. They'll play either 15th or the 16th, the weekend of the first round. This is Virginia's final regular season game.
Just when everyone thought Cuse was dead. So Sebald has the ball here. I'm a little surprised by this, but
they've got Connors and Kastner on him, and he lost it, able to recover. 5 seconds, and he'll flip it into the air, and Syracuse holds on for a 2-goal win.
I didn't see this coming. Either did you. Don't lie, you didn't see this one coming.
Nobody saw this coming after Syracuse lost 21-9 at home to Carolina. Lost by 7 at home against Notre Dame.